Time now for the week that was. Let's take a look at the top stories that made headlines across the globe this week. Now, what about getting your first domestic flight at absolutely no cost? That is what you stand to enjoy if you decide to fly on ValueJet, Nigeria's latest domestic airline, which offers a new and flexible airfare pricing scheme to make flying more affordable and accessible. Arise correspondent Oba Adeoye completes the story.
Players in the aviation industry on Tuesday converged on Ikeja, the capital city of Lagos, to witness the official unveiling of new entrant ValueJet Airlines. The grand event introduced to Nigerians the first of its kind opportunity to fly for free. According to ValueJet management, customers who book round trips between the 4th and 9th of October will pay nothing for their first flight on ValueJet. The management says the offer is only valid for flights between the 10th of October and the 9th of November 2022. Adekunle Shoname, the chairman of ValueJet, is so confident that the airline will change the face of the Nigerian aviation sector, as customers will always remain the central focus of its operation.
First and foremost, we want to be proud of our on-time departure. That's a good value. We are going to be the first hybrid carrier in Nigeria. A hybrid means low cost and legacy. That means we cater for everyone. That is catering for the high and mighty and for the low class as well. So that's a huge value that we're bringing to the market and add value. Of course, value doesn't necessarily mean cheap, but we will evidence value and will deliver it.
The unveiling event also introduced cabin crew members of ValueJet and their different uniforms to the public. Founded in July 2018, ValueJet for now operates to and fro Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt and Asaba, offering an end-to-end customer experience backed by up-to-date technology, driven by a team of dedicated and passionate professionals.
There is a need for capacity, and we will now, with our operation, we will add capacity to the market so we can help grow this market, because at the moment it is stagnant, it's not growing. It's because of capacity. People are saying it's too expensive to fly, so they don't fly. So we are coming in the market, as we said, as a hybrid, catering for both ends. Those that can afford to pay the higher fares because they need to travel at a particular time, fine. And those that are wanting to travel, but they feel that the travel is costly, we are trying to bring them on board and say, guys, come and fly ValueJet and get value for your money.
We have the books, we follow the regulations, we do our maintenance on time. We have good aircrafts, we have good pilots, we have good engineers. Our pilots are well experienced, the people we had flown with in the past in different airlines, so I know the capability as co-pilots, and now they're captains. I feel very relaxed, I can sleep, I can put my wife, I can put my children on the flight with them.
Okay, ValueJet is launching a first flight on us promo. And this promo is basically covering our 3 destinations. That's Abuja, Port Harcourt, and Asaba. So we're giving out tickets as low as 75,000 for economy and 100,000 for premium.
Apart from a free first flight, you can also earn value points every time you fly with ValueJet. The number of points earned per flight is determined by the route, fare, and class of travel. Value points can be used for upgrade into premium economy or to book a reward ticket. Oba Adeoye, Arise News, Lagos.
All right, Steve, so planning a trip between the 10th and the 9th of November, right? We have to make a trip happen.
No, we need to.
That's actually a very, very interesting initiative.
Absolutely. This is the kind of news that many Nigerians would like to hear at this time.
Yeah.
At this time that the aviation sector is challenged, is
There's
problematic.
No better time for this news.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that will give them confidence will be the personality of the man behind it, the chairman of ValueJet Airline, Kunle Shoname, who's a big-time player as an entrepreneur and an investor. We know him to be quite heavy in a number of areas, including sport. So the mere fact that he's going into aviation, and he's been on it, for quite a while, he didn't just dive into it. I think that's a good one. That is starting small, if you like, starting domestically, locally. We hope that it will grow. But I like the fact that He's saying that let passengers have value for money. The only thing that may be intriguing there is the fact that when the lead marketing person, for ValueJet says that, oh, you can get a ticket for as low as 75,000. I'm like, 75,000? And that's low? I mean,
I know.
That is to show the extent, absolutely, the extent of the issues that we are dealing with, because we know that, economic flight from Lagos to Abuja, any 1 hour flight within Nigeria is a lot more than 100,000 and 150. I'm told that more than 200,000 in some instances. So if they are offering 75,000, they're doing that because they're comparing that to what obtains. But then at 75,000, that's twice, more than twice the minimum wage in Nigeria. So it means that things are difficult, but interventions like this are welcome, and we must congratulate them and to also encourage them. It should be interesting that at least a Nigerian is bringing his own money, bringing his investment into a dicey and delicate sector like aviation. But we must encourage them, and government must give them all the necessary encouragement and support. And it looks to me like this will fly. It looks to me like it will fly.
And what an apt name too.
Value, absolutely.
Sounds like that's what they're going to be offering.
That's good.
All right.
All right, we'll proceed. For more than 9 years, oil thieves had free course tapping from Shell Petroleum Development Company's Trans-Escravos trunk line in Delta State. The theft was discovered on Tuesday by Tanteta Security Services Nigeria Limited, owned by ex-militant leader Government Ekpemukpolo, also known as Tompolo. Leading a federal government delegation to the Trans-Escravos trunk line, the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, warned that anyone found culpable will face the law. Vietemi George has the details.
On a wet Friday morning, a federal government delegation led by the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, arrived the area. Accompanied by the Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Irabo, members of the team walk on marshy ground, occasionally wading in the mud. Eventually, they arrive at a 4-kilometer Trans-Escravos trunk line, where they discover at various points 2 pipelines illegally connected to the source.
The attachment on our Trans-Escravos pipeline, that illegal connection, is professionally done, and the end result is that they connected this to an inactive test line which should never carry crude under normal circumstances, and we have seen that this line flow all the way parallel to the other 2 active lines into the Afremos platform, and we think this is a good revelation. Very extensive investigation will be conducted. Anyone involved in this process, whether from the community members, our community contractors, government security agencies, workers of the oil companies, including NMPC and Shell, anyone that is involved with this will be dealt with by the law. We are getting massive support from the government security agencies. It is paying up. We are seeing very great results. Interventions from all government security agencies, from the Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force, Department of State Services, Nigerian Army, and all other agencies of government. We are seeing massive campaign that is coordinated by the Chief of Defense Staff, and it is paying off.
I've come here and I've seen, along with of course, the Group CEO of NMPC Limited. This is really very sad, and we're going to get to the root of it all. There will be an investigation that will go through the entire stretch, entire length of the chain to establish who did this, how long it has been, and amongst several other issues.
It beats the imagination how for years security personnel of Shell Petroleum Development Company failed to detect the fraud on the facility, while a pipeline surveillance contractor only needed a month to discover it.
This theft is discovered by Tanteta Security Services Limited. The chairman of Tanteta Security Services Limited is High Chief Government Ekpemukpolo, the person you all know as Tompolo. his dream and aspiration as far as this work is concerned is very, very clear. Our operation has started for about 6 weeks now. Within these 6 weeks, we have discovered on this TEP, we have discovered 16 tap-ins on the Trans-Escravos pipeline. Of the 6 or 16 that we have excavated, we have intel on 2 that are further from where we are coming from now, and we are still excavating. We are coming this line. We are going to trot this line until we get to Ogidigbe, from Ogidigbe to Madanwo. And so only God knows how many more points we are going to see as we go further. But as at this moment now, we have discovered 16 points.
These 2 parallel pipelines are connected here illegally, and for 9 years they stole crude oil without the NNPC knowing anything about it. Now in the coming days, perhaps more information will come to the fore about how they did this for just a year shy of a decade without being caught. Ofieteme George, Arise News.
Well, a great report from Ofieteme George
Absolutely.
there. But Steve,
Absolutely.
what was your immediate reaction to the story? Any surprises?
Oh, well, I mean, not anymore. I mean, these are the kind of things that we'll be hearing. The surprise for me will be that it took Tompolo, barely 1 month of being engaged by the federal government to discover this, in addition to the 16 other tap-ins that they have discovered. Whereas in 9 good years, NNPC and the security apparatus of government that they're working with failed to discover. I mean, we can't accept that before Tompolo, there was no surveillance going on. There were, but then was there connivance? Have we been dealing with the fact that those that are being paid by government to look after the facilities are the same people who are either directly involved in this theft or are conniving with other people? So, for want of a better word, we will say kudos to Tompolo's company and the initiative that brought this about, even though, you can subject it to further interrogation. For example, the personality of Tompolo is still a problematic one, for example, is, as far as we know, is still on the website of the EFCC, as a wanted person, based on certain misgivings about the contract that he had under Jonathan. We do not know if that has come to an end. But then the same government that criticized the manner in which all the contracts were awarded has now taken on Tompolo again. But then if we are seeing results, maybe what it requires is that you use people who are from that locality, who are from that region, who knows the territory, who can deal, with what it takes. And maybe that's what will get out of the woods.
9 years, Steve.
9 years. 9 years.
That is beyond intriguing.
A barrel of crude is not a gallon. And we are not talking about, few barrels. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of barrels. It will have made some people multi-billionaires. But then who buys crude in large quantity without the apparatus of the state? Who is taking them? Who are they selling them to? Those are not small-time thieves. They will be, there will be multinationals involved. There will be, governments involved or people in government. It goes beyond
sophisticated thieves.
Sophisticated. It goes beyond just discovering this thing. I mean, government will need to do a lot more. And at least let us know how far that they will go with this one. Expose people who are involved and ensure that, assure Nigerians that this will not just be about Emele Kyari, going on a raining Friday and then announcing to the world that we have discovered something. It ought to go a lot more than that. But kudos that at least this was discovered and it will put, some bit of sanity into it. If thieves know that there is a superior firepower after them, the likelihood that it will reduce will be very high.
Hopefully we don't discover another 9 more. But then again, like you said, no surprises there.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move right along. Victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack hoping for compensation may have to wait a little longer as the federal government is yet to decide if compensation will be paid. Briefing the media on the rescue of the 23 recently released kidnapped victims, Minister of Transportation Muazu Jaji Sambo says that while medical support is available for their rehabilitation, he has no answers to the issue of compensation for the victims. He says the ministry is working on short and long-term plans to provide security before reopening the train service.
My friend Ferdinand from Arise News wants to know whether there is any plan to compensate the victims. I honestly have no answer for that question. I have told the press, time without number, that rather than risk the life of one single Nigerian, we will rather stop the rail service. Now that the hostages, and we could not also resume, in all honesty, with a clear conscience, knowing the kind of trauma that both victims and their loved ones were going through, we felt that it was not appropriate to resume rail services. Now, I can tell you, we are going to resume very soon. Now, in order to resume rail services, we have to put in place that going forward, such an incident never ever happens in this country. And so we have a short-term and a long-term plan.
What do you make of this, Steve?
Well, the minister apparently has little to reveal. You know, it seems not to know so much about what the government plans to do beyond, you know, what has been said by the president for those who have been released. I think what is important is to have a general kind of standardized, you know, treatment plan, you know, rehabilitation plan for people like that, and not always to have to throw money at it. I like the fact that it says that we will take care of their medicals, you know, but you know the issues are bigger than, you know, little things like that. They are bigger than when they come, we will welcome them, the president will give them a handshake, etc. What led to the incident, you know, that traumatized, you know, so much people, traumatized the whole country? What led, you know, to how they were rescued? Up till today, we still do not have information, other than the fact that they are saying kudos to the military. But how did you rescue the last 29 people? Did you arrest anybody? Did you kill anybody, any of the bandits? You know, is anybody wanted? Or you just negotiated and then you were telling us that gallant soldiers, you know, free these people? These are germane issues that Nigerians will be interested in, beyond the fact that, oh, we will look after them, etc. What are the plans? What is the assurance that the same people, when the rail service starts again, they will not become victims, you know, a second time? Because once crime and criminality becomes so lucrative, you can put an end to it. And we're not just getting enough in terms of credible and plausible information from the federal government.
I absolutely agree. There are bigger issues and they have to be attacked right from the root causes of it. And completely eradicated as well. I mean, well, to the best.
At least be seen to be doing your best. You know, be seen to be doing your best. I mean, the non-state players cannot be more equipped, cannot be more strategic than, you know, the military apparatus of Nigeria. To accept that will mean that we're close to being a failed state. And, you know, from what the political actors are saying, we're not a failed state. I accept that we're not a failed state, but show to Nigerians that you are capable of dealing with non-state actors who are hell-bent on, you know, making life difficult for Nigerians.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.